Leg's been operated on. That's from the hamstring graft. There's a bit of the front. It's been over a month since I've been in my cupboard. Let's go again. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but I needed to be here. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, 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 my friend. Welcome back to Spend Some Time with the Crippled Cupboard Warrior. I am back in my cupboard. The last episode was an episode, which I'm not sure if I've told anyone, stands for, kind of, it's got a dual meaning. Out of office, out of office, and also when you have like XOXO, I'm a huge cuddler, and so it stands for cuddles. So it's 3 hugs and out of office. So it's episode that I've recorded elsewhere. You can expect much worse quality than when I'm sat at my cupboard. I'm still experimenting with the quality of these recordings actually, and I'm only just very recently, once I returned back from a holiday to Ibiza, I started to explore the actual features of GarageBand very briefly. So this is the time. It feels like I'm recovering from my knee reconstruction operation where my ACL had ruptured and I'd torn my medial meniscus, and also unexpectedly my lateral meniscus was fucked. So they removed some of that. And this is my 4th day of recovery. I feel like I don't particularly need painkillers anymore. They did tell me to keep up with paracetamol and ibuprofen for a couple of weeks, even if I wasn't in no particular amount of pain. And I'm just very surprised with the level of swelling. They said that the swelling could increase for the next 2 weeks. I've been very good. And chilling out, recovering well. I've been super fortunate to have friends around to help me with daily tasks and stuff. And right now I'm coming to a point of culmination with my laundry. So my laundry basket's full. It's all the way upstairs at the top, and my washing machine's in the basement. And whilst I'm on crutches and I shan't put weight on my right leg, it's proving difficult to get my laundry from up there to all the way down to the basement. So let's see what's going to happen with that. I think I'll have a friend visiting tonight, which is going to be lovely. I might just ask her to help me out. I said, are you coming over to visit tonight? And she said, yeah, planning on having a takeaway with me. So good food. I was going mental insane before this operation in terms of social interactions. Very, very enjoyable, but very OTT, very over the top. I think I ate out probably 12 times in the last 14 days at least, which is a bit excessive. But you know what? I love food. I love eating out, and it's a good way to connect with friends, a good reason to meet up with friends, and especially when I knew to expect this time of hibernation pretty much. It was a good time to take advantage of the time that I had whilst I still could move my feet. I was really, really focusing on moving my legs and remembering what it feels like to move my legs to the best of my ability. And do you know what? It's heaven. But right now I have full appreciation of life and movement, and I have an eternal amount of gratitude towards how well I'm able to move. They said before the operation that the better my condition is going into the operation, the better the outcome would be, should be, ought to be. And it never really truly clicked as to exactly why or how. Obviously you can trust the process, you trust the professionals to know what they're talking about and stuff. But now that I'm in this state where I'm on crutches and I've been doing plenty of handstands. Obviously the initial injury happened in January, so this is 7 months ago. I've been doing a lot of upper body work. I've been doing a lot of pistol squats, leg conditioning, especially on the sort of strength side, some dip squats. So one foot being bent behind you when you squat down with one leg, and the back leg, the knee tries to touch the ground. My goodness. And also balancing on one leg. They're the best things I could have ever done, because now I'm finding it so much easier to move around. Changing clothes, I can just squat down on one leg, my left leg, to the ground, change my clothes and move on. I can't even, it's just made me think, if I wasn't, most people aren't in a great condition coming out of a surgery, and it must be tough as fuck, is all I can say. I wonder, you must be able to hear my computer, it's really loud. I need to take this, well, obviously I can't really move now, but I need to take it into an Apple shop, because this is my newest MacBook and it's far louder than the other one that's over 10 years old, probably. But yeah, let's not go into that. What else? What else is new? Went to Ibiza, and I thought I'd literally have one thing in my bucket list, and I wanted to box it off before my operation. And that was to watch the sun set into the sea, which you only can really do, well, probably most of the time if you're on the west coast. And so I travelled to the west coast in Ibiza and found a spot to myself to watch the sun set into the sea. That was so peaceful, blissful, beautiful, utterly warm and thought-provoking. It's just any opportunity I can have to experience how small the human really is in this vast universe, I will take it. It's so powerful. And the sun, just the rotation of the earth, how it makes the sun set into the sea at such a speed, what seems like at such a speed, but obviously the last bit of sun you see is not really the sun itself anymore, it's the reflection that the sky creates. Fucking hell, I'm in a poetic mood today. Not poetic, but it's been a while since there is something magical about this cupboard, because it's soundproofed, and it really is a place where I can come to spend some time alone with my thoughts, and then these thoughts I share with you guys, because I don't really sit here unless I'm recording a podcast. So maybe this is the deepest of me that you're getting, in a way. There are always, I will always strive to be very truthful, open, honest, stand true to my values, and I want to let you in, because I can't begin to tell you how much my human interactions have deepened and improved since starting this podcast. I feel like anyone, whether it be a friend or just a random person who's listened to this, it's made conversations so much better, because once I feel like the more open I am as a person, the more receptive I can become, and also people can maybe identify some of the thoughts within themselves. And it's just beautiful to sometimes start a conversation that doesn't start with small talk, that goes straight into the more interesting topics for me. But also I do acknowledge that lots of people struggle to, open up, and that also is beautiful. And then in those interactions I'm quite often a question asker. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Well, sometimes I do, but most of the time not really. Fucking how I'm feeling peaceful and harmonious. Yeah. What should we do? Let's chat shit as it comes up. Now we're going to go into, this is actually the first time I'm recording this podcast with my podcasting microphone, which I've had for at least 2 years, 3 years, and I've just not been comfortable sort of using it. and I haven't found the right setting, and now I just thought, fuck it, let's try it, because that means that so far I've been using my phone as the recording device because it automatically connects to my computer, which is fabulous. And for some reason today I thought I want to use my phone as my note device, and let's try the microphone and see what it's like. Any feedback is welcomed. I would always love to hear, oh, this episode was a bit crappy in terms of the sound. Constructive criticism, feedback, always welcome. Send it and your questions, if you have any, to hello@ericahelsinki.com. Do we have questions? Questions. It's time for questions. Question. You're normally, this is very but question for the moment. My brain's gone blank. You're normally really active. Do you think you'll be able to stop when you're recovering from your operation? I think this is a very relevant question. Relevant was the word I was looking for. This is a relevant question because I've had a lot of people try to give me friendly advice and whatnot leading up to the operation. And when I was being super active beforehand, they're just the amount of people, my God, oh, are you sure you should be doing so much? Oh, you need to calm down a little bit. Oh, you need to do less. Dear people, I know you've got your best interests at heart. However, I've used my body as my vehicle and as my mode of work, or whatever. I use my body for my work. My body is my work, in a way. I've been self-employed, so my body's been my focus for the last 13 years or so. I don't even know how. 12 years? 12 years. So you'll have to trust me that I know my body best. And when my knee kept re-injuring before it got operated on, it was nearly always, apart from the very beginning, from really accidental stuff, like stepping off a stool, like being on my bike out in town and just putting my foot down as I stepped down off the bike. So it was just sort of the times when I wasn't 100% paying attention to what I was doing. And sports were the most safe and the most rewarding things I could have done in those times when I was just waiting for my operation to happen. Climbing, inline skating, gymnastics, anything at all. The exercise itself was very safe. Whenever I had my muscles contracted, that's when I strengthened everything around the joints, and it was blissful. And on top of that, how happy movement makes me. There's just not a question in my mind that exercising was the best thing I could have possibly done to myself, especially looking back at it now when my body is fairly strong and it's really, really, really helping me with recovery. Also, now that I've so-called stopped, as in let me just say that I prepared myself mentally for this moment for quite a while, and I am, what did I think today? I had a thought, what's the word? I'm a very sensitive. My mum's always told me I'm a very sensitive person. And it's opening up to me because I went through a phase where I'm like rebellious and so I'm not sensitive, I'm tough. But I'm actually very sensitive. But I'm also very resilient. And I'm very willing to be open and vulnerable. And I think I'm coming to understand that these are my real strengths. And say at the hospital when I was in a lot of pain after the operation, I was partly crying and partly just tears were running out of my eyes because they were asking me to rate my pain, and it was pretty consistently at 8 out of 10. I said after the operation, apart from that short moment when they injected me full of fentanyl, that was sort of 5 out of 10. So still bad, just made me woozy. And the only thing that helped for my pain was tramadol, but it doesn't do anything anymore, so I'm just thinking I'll not take it anymore. What was I saying? Yes, so in terms of recovery, my mind is fully at peace with being in the house, chilling out, shifting my focus from socializing as much as I can and doing as much as I can to just doing very little and focusing more on just peace and stillness. And because I've always been that kind of a person that whatever I put my mind into, that's what's going to be good. And so I'm feeling very, very, very good now about sitting in the house on my own. Really, really watching the kids when they're here. They're going to come back in about half an hour from their dads. Just spending time with them and observing my thoughts, my feelings. And so I wouldn't say what did it say? Something like, how are you going to cope? Or do you think you'll be able to stop? Okay, I am able to stop. And it was made particularly easy because I could anticipate the situation where I sort of have to stop. If I don't stop, it's not going to be good for me. And I very much want to do what's good for me because I am the priority in my life and I need to look after myself in order to help anyone else or in order to make anyone else happy. So, yes, I think I'm able to stop. But again, my form of stopping, it doesn't mean that I stop doing anything and everything. I hang from a gymnastics rack every morning. I do stretches. I do plenty of rehab. But rehab at the moment is sitting still. It's contracting my quads. It's trying to make my legs straight. It's trying to not necessarily even increase the bend in my knee, but just to put my foot down and work on the muscles whilst my foot is on the ground. And that is the best thing. Those are the best things I could be doing right now. So there's nothing to stress about. That's me doing a lot at the moment. And I've finally found a bit of peaceful time to not feel rushed. And what I actually have found, I had a chat with my counsellor today, is that my mind has actually gone more quiet. And that feels unbelievable. He was reminding me, just saying, I can only just watch things at 1.5 speed if it's a TV show. I listen to podcasts at 1.5 to 3 times speed. No, sorry, audiobooks tend to go to 3 times speed if it's slow. And I think I'll still listen to podcasts at that speed, and I'll still increase the pace when I'm listening to audiobooks. However, I'm able to watch a TV show called Vikings at normal speed, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying not being rushed. I'm enjoying not really having a particular schedule, and I'm trying to take all my more work in the mornings for now. So I've had about 6-7 clients so far since my operation. I did take the operation day and the next day fully off. But since then, I've tried to get my work boxed off in the morning. I had one in the evening as well, but it's just nice. And my client was laughing at me because it was online. I did an online PT session with someone in Finland, and I was just on the couch, icing my knee, elevating it, and he's like, "Oh, isn't this good that you're a fitness professional and there you are, sitting on your ass on the couch and just telling me what to do?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's kind of how it works. It's pretty dreamy. It's pretty good." And yeah, still staying active in terms of keeping my body strong, and being on the crutches is just really enjoyable. I love becoming more in control of movement and of my balance whilst being on my crutches. It's really good. Also, we have a book club now. I think it's the 3rd book that we're reading. The last one was To Kill a Mockingbird, and I thought that was pretty shit. It's a classic, and I wouldn't say it's a bad book. I think it can be a really, really good book for many people. for me, it just had a lot of sort of like racial things, and I've been brought up to never judge a person based on their appearance and stuff. And obviously, we live in the modern world, and for me, you know, I used to live on the most culturally diverse streets in England, and I just also have had really good conversations about this, because I kind of, some people I think take offense if I say, or if people say that they don't see color, and because I would kind of, I feel like that's how I treat people. It's I judge them based on their actions and how they are, how they behave, how they treat others, not based on the skin of the color of their skin. But then to them, there's obviously, there can be like racial trauma and whatever, and I appreciate that. That's not what I mean. I'm not discounting that at all. When I don't see color, I just say I see people as people. Same as, you know, children should be treated like people. Obviously they need to be looked after more, obviously they need to be taught, but the only way they can be really, I always used to be super frustrated when adults were treating me like a child, when I felt like I could understand a lot more than what they were telling me. That was really frustrating for me. But yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird, if you've read it, tell me what you thought of it. I'd love to hear your feedback, your opinions. For me, it was just it was quite hard to follow the sort of old American English, and it was dragging it out a little bit. I think I started reading, I read about half the book with my eyes, and the last half I listened to as an audiobook, because I just I was going to run out of time otherwise, and having done so, I was so happy I did, because I think I would have been very frustrated with the book if I had read it, because I'm such a slow reader that it would have taken a long time to finish it. Listening to the audio version was a lot better. This month our book is it David Eccles or something like that, but the book is called The Circle, I think. I got that as an audiobook. I used to feel like that's definitely cheating, but when I have time and when I'm, you know, I want to really want to get more into actual reading, but when it's, I don't know, right now I feel like if it's a really good book, I will happily take it up again and read it. And also the kind of environmental factor of, if I can't just take it and recycle it or borrow it from the library, it kind of feels like a bit of a waste. I don't want to just accumulate physical books, and I struggle to, just e-readers are a bit, it's not the same for me. I want to either touch the pages or just listen to the whole thing. That's the way I like to do it. But let's see if I had another question. Yes, there was another question. Okay, I've actually kind of been looking forward to this. It's just been a question that was asked ages ago. But the question is, what jobs have you had? Basically, here comes my CV. Siri's listening. Shush. The computer Siri's going. Can you please stop? How can I stop Siri?
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
Oh, no, I can't. I want you to shut up. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. Erika knows how to use computers. Okay, jobs. This is really good, because I kind of thought that I haven't had many jobs. Here goes. I'm a personal trainer. I've ran boot camps, classes, online challenges, master classes, 1-to-1, normally 1 to 2 sessions. So body PT, partner PT, 1-to-1 sessions is what I do nowadays. I will do more online stuff as and when time permits, and I actually have a little assistant now to help me out, which is great. But slowly and surely we're just going to box off things that need sorting out first. But I'd love to help more people out, so stay tuned. I was a climbing instructor for a few years, which I loved. Probably one of my first jobs was delivering newspapers to the local environment in Finland, where I used to grow up. That was quite tedious, but it just taught me, you know, it was great to just build up the packs and then take them out, and then having some old angry grannies saying, I don't want any free newspapers, and I'm sorry, being told to deliver it to everyone. Anyway, I was probably 15, 14. At the time, I did it with my upstairs neighbour, which was a great experience, as in, you know, manual graft. Very important. I think everyone should do a bit of manual graft, to be honest. I've worked in Hesburger, which is sort of the Finnish McDonald's. Absolutely loved it. Worked there for a good few years, probably 3.5, 4 years, I don't know. Got promoted to a staff trainer, and that was the job where I gained a lot of self-confidence, and I really found that I can be super efficient, reliable, and I loved making burgers. I loved interacting with people. I loved that kind of short connection. I really feel like I strived in that job, and I would have loved to have done it if it just wasn't so, if it had more challenges in it. It's something that I would have just continued doing for the rest of my life, to be honest. It was great. And the working atmosphere, some of the like connections, you know, when you really work together with somebody, it was invaluable, unbelievable. I've been a worker at a construction site. I was hired to be a painter. I painted some really silly things in the ceiling. I don't even really know what they were, but they were red, and I had to paint them grey. But then they still put a roof over it. It was like in a future shopping centre. That was fun. I got a pretty good pay. I had a crush on one of the boys in there, and then we became a couple, and I made the mistake of being a bit of a mama to him and paid for his flights to come to England when I moved back here. That was silly of me. Never looking after a man like that anymore. No. He was a loser, unfortunately. Very much so. And I have an aversion to losers these days. Sorry, losers. No, I'm being harsh, but he was sort of like, probably had a drinking problem at the age of 18, and he was just a rascal. He was like a chav, basically. Oh, little Erica didn't know any better, but he was really cool and full of tattoos. Oh my god, Erica, man. What a silly pie. I worked in a nightclub as a bartender, and I ran an outdoor sort of beer garden. It was unbelievable. I absolutely loved it. Love being sober when other people are drunk. Loved serving them. Loved getting tips from people. Loved just all of it. The pace. It was amazing. I wouldn't anymore like to work in the night time. But apart from that, an amazing job. I got that job based on a handshake. So I was recommended to the boss, and I went for a job interview. I walked in and I was like, "Hi, my name is Erica." Shook his hand, and he's like, "Sit down, please. Would you like something to eat or some coffee or something?" He's like, "You got the job based on your handshake." I'm like, "Fucking hell, that was easy." That was good. I worked as a translator for I don't know, 2-3 years. This went into lockdown. These are not in a chronological order, by the way. These are in the order that came to my mind as I was writing the list. Translator, yeah. So I was translating mostly online gaming content and articles about poker and roulette and blackjack and slots and shit like that. And I was writing articles, translating articles. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed translating, actually, and I sort of came to realise how poorly, say, the Finnish Netflix has been translated. I was like, oh, should I get in touch with Netflix and just to say, like, I could do this job a lot better. It pays to have multiple languages in your repertoire. Anyway, I've been an SEO writer. That was before becoming a translator. I think translating is regarded in a higher regard. It was a bit easier to get my foot in the door becoming an SEO writer. That was basically just to get a bit of money in my Euro account, because I was working for European companies, and it was a remote job before remote working became a big thing, I suppose. And it was just really cool to get a few pennies. Got like, just some extra cash. That was really cool. At the time when I had a bit of spare time. Good. Okay, as a child, I was selling my mum's cinnamon buns in a flea market. So she used to just go every Saturday or so. That's my memory anyway. I could be wrong. And she just bagged up cinnamon buns, and they were quite famous. Not famous, but in the very sort of local area. People used to come in and buy them. And I used to bag them up and sell them. That was fun. The flat always smelled of cinnamon buns once a week, so that was cool. I also sold donuts and ice cream, and this I'd sort of forgotten about. this must have been when I was young, like 9, 10, 11, probably. And I was just helping out my mum's friend, who ended up, when I was probably 15 or 16, inviting me to go over to Turkey with her and her sister, because she didn't really speak English much at all, and she was getting her teeth done, and so she wanted me there as a translator, which is great because I wasn't that confident with my English back then. But I went and helped her out, and that was really fun. And I had to actually start learning negotiating in English, because like the dentist was just a bit, I don't know, dodgy, but like that was good. That was a good, yeah, and donuts and ice cream, and just learning to make those scoops of ice cream. It was amazing. Really, really good. I nearly worked in TV, so I aspired to be an actress at some point, and I'm really happy I didn't pursue that career, actually, because it's a very narcissistic endeavor, and very competitive, and I'm not that competitive, to be honest. I think I would have just trusted for my talent to take me everywhere, but I got invited to some auditions, and I very nearly got a role in a miniseries in Finland, and that fell through because I was going to do the little sister's role, but then I apparently looked too old for it, but then I looked too young for the lead role. I don't know, something, but they were just saying they really want to work with me, but I, just wasn't the right fit in the end. And then also I got invited to audition for a summer sort of teenagers program as a host, and that was a funny thing, because it's like I kind of have I'm actually, oh my god, the girl who used to be the host, there was a girl and a boy, or early woman, early man, I don't know what to call female presumed, male presumed. She was a band member of someone who I'm sort of friends with now, who's on some of my online fitness challenges, and we're sort of online friends. And yes, they used to play in a band together. And then also a third member of that band used to be my good friend's ex-girlfriend. And yeah, it's just funny. Finland's such a small country. Everyone knows each other in one way or another. At least they're connected to people around them, In England, I worked in offices for a couple of years. I worked as a data analyst, and then in quality control after I got promoted after 9 months. That was cool. I was all right. It was just it was boring is not the right word, but it was just not the kind of challenge that I wanted in my life. So I resigned and started working as an account manager for Cisco. Sort of worked with lots of IT people, and all the Scandinavian countries had to, just work with Danish and Finnish companies, IT companies and stuff. That was all right. And I think they were saying, it's a promising career. If I'd wanted to stick with it, I could have got been promoted or started working for the partner companies who pay really well and stuff like that. But I just didn't really have my heart in it. Made some good connections, but that was a great experience, and that was definitely the thing that really taught me that I do not want to work in 9 to 5. It doesn't suit me. It's not what I want to do, and that was a very valuable lesson. Here I am, self-employed, many years later. Also, yes, I started uni in Finland to do sort of, what's it called, social, I don't know, like social services kind of thing, uni course. I did a placement for 6 weeks, I think, as a youth worker in a sort of youth centre, or social worker, whatever. And I was, for example, like arranging for them to have sexual health training, or workshops and stuff like that. Made the posters, and that was really fun. That for me again was, I felt like it wasn't academic enough, but it was really fun to work with young people, and I just vibed with that thing. But then I came to uni in England because I just felt like I really want to have an education where, like, I just want to feel like I'm an academic, and I love research, and I love real research data instead of just sort of anecdotal evidence for things, which I feel like those people's sort of on about. I don't know. Okay. That's that section. I wrote down that I wanted to give you some life hacks. So let's see what I can find. I don't know what to call them. I wrote down toolkit. So it's this kind of life toolkit. Some little tips for you to take away. Things that I find sometimes I take for granted, but then when I realise other people don't use these tools for life, I'm like, what's going on? Okay, so in your phone, you've got your own details. So when you've got your name and your phone number and stuff, also save your NHS number, also social security number, whatever. I've saved my national insurance number in there, all my old addresses, and you've got like a notes section in your own contact. You know, the stuff that when people ask, or you know, previous addresses or just important information about yourself, and you just go, fuck, where do I find that? Write them all in there, and say, you know, national insurance number is quite useful. Sometimes, you know, I've written down my bank card numbers and stuff like that, just in case I get stuck without anything but my phone. So you can always dig up that information then. Yeah, that could help. How about, loop earplugs. Brand doesn't matter, but basically earplugs are a lifesaver. First of all, if you want to protect your hearing, but say when I was in Ibiza and I was seeing my favorite DJ in the whole wide world called Fisher, oh my god, it's amazing. He just does like bangers from the 90s and stuff, or 2000s, and just mixes them in an unreal way that just makes me move. I don't know about you, just makes me move like a motherfucker. I spend the entire night wearing my loops, so basically just no noise is ever too loud, and then you can just really vibe. People can shout in your ear and you hear them much clearer. So also for anyone that's a bit neurodivergent or, you know, sensitive to sounds, which I often am, I like just put them in to get a bit of peace and quiet. There's a version that you can literally put in your ear and you can still hear your surroundings, just a muffled up version. And one of them's got like a mesh. So I think I think this is what my friend told me, so I'm kind of just believing her. So you can kind of have a really good conversation, but it blocks out a lot of the external noises. So really, really good. Loop earplugs. I bought mine. I've got 2 pairs from Amazon. Oh, my knees really starting to hurt. So highly recommend. Go for it. When you're boiling pasta, you could just fill the pan up with hot water instead of boiling the kettle. Boiling the kettle takes up a lot of energy and costs a lot more. So if you just make the tap as hot as possible, then rinse the pan out with the hot water so the pan gets warm, and then fill it up with hot water. It'll start boiling a lot sooner. And then obviously add so much salt into the pasta water that it's like seawater, and then the pasta will be flavored. Unbelievable. And also a pasta tip, make sure to leave it al dente, please. Don't overcook it, don't make it soggy. Pasta is one of the best things in the world, so let's make pasta well. Next one. Oh yes, okay, some programs, especially when you watch something like, I think ITV or something in England, if you watch it live, you get absolutely tons of adverts all the time. And what I found is that if you just watch it on catch up the next day, you can half the amount of adverts you get at least. So you actually, I think the live version of a show took like an hour and a half. And when I watched it the day after, and I also actually pumped up the jam, pump it up, basically sped up the program a little bit. It took me like 45 minutes. So I saved half the time skipping the ads and not watching it live. Catch up TV is a dream. Also, when you choose, you know, when you watch as on catch up, you just get to choose what you watch. Don't just mindlessly watch telly. That's a waste of life. You could be doing other things that are much more beneficial to your well-being. Anyway, Amazon Fresh. Apparently lots of people haven't heard about this. If you're in the UK, I don't know where else, but you can use Amazon Fresh instead of supermarket delivery slots. If you pay for Prime like I do, It's just been raised up to $8.99 a month, which is not the end of the world, really. You get free shipping if you spend a certain amount. So it's basically supermarket priced foods, much cheaper than Deliveroo, and much faster than any supermarket chains would deliver. So you get like a 2-hour window 2 hours from now. So if I order before 12, I can have a slot 2 till 4. So I find it super useful. I don't want to wait for my grocery shopping. So if I need something, like I'll probably today or tomorrow, I'll probably do a shop in Amazon Fresh just to get some fresh shit in. Phone. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Please. Now, nobody needs to hear your messages unless you're waiting for something in specific, but it's such a life disruptor. Don't let other people dictate what you do with your time. Pick up your phone, pick up your messages when you've got the time for it. Even better, just disable notifications so you don't get a loud screen full of like, 300 messages here. Do Not Disturb lets through phone calls and they can pick them up because it could be more urgent. But messages, don't respond until you're ready. This is what I get sometimes told off for. Well, not anymore, to be honest, because my friends know that I don't live on my phone. And Do Not Disturb is on all the time. So, yeah, get back to your messages when you're ready. And also, I don't know if it's the same on Android, but the Apple iPhone is just fantastic because when you're on Do Not Disturb, there's no pings, you can't see when people are messaging you, and it's just so headspace saving. It's unbelievable. You can do other stuff on your phone and just not be distracted. Invaluable. Recipes. 10 vegetables. I'll save that for another time. Travel hack. Get lounge access. Lounge access is so valuable. So you pay like, I don't know, I've paid €35 in Ibiza, and basically that includes free alcohol, free meals, hot and cold meals, really comfortable seating, sort of more private toilets, sometimes even a shower. It's just free coffees, everything. So I just think whenever you're at the airport, if you have a meal there, you're already going to spend that amount of money easily, and then you're going to be amongst all the loud, not loud people, but the loud environment. And a lounge is just so worth the money every time. Oh my God, I'm just in love with lounges. And if I've got any more than 2 hours at an airport, I'm absolutely going into the lounge. Dreamy. And especially sometimes you just, like last time in Ibiza, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to take advantage of it. Because I was not going to drink on my holiday, but then I realised that drinking's cheaper than drinking water, which is fucking ridiculous. And then especially when I was in the lounge, I was coming home and I was sleep deprived. I was like, I just want to sleep. I was just like, had, big, some, like 2 big glasses of wine. I had some Prosecco, and then there was a Greek lady who poured me like Greek drink. Because it's you just freely pour it. I know this is a bit of a cheapskate thing to say, but it's like there's no, it's like a civilized way of drinking, and drinking more than you would if you had the airport normally, and you don't need to queue. You just go and pour your own drinks. So worthwhile. Lounge access everywhere. I also slept in the lounge in Ibiza for 2 hours just because the seat was so big and comfortable, and I was tired. Also, my personal biggest life hack for seat selection on the plane, I always choose the last seat on the plane next to toilets by the window. Get a beautiful view, get nobody behind you looking over your shoulder. What you doing? Toilets near. You do get the most turbulence, but I love turbulence, so this is my life hack for me and like-minded people. Yeah. Oh, okay. We've got 2 more sort of hacks for the toolkit of life. One is get a toilet stool. Get a stool in the toilet. There's something called, I think, squatty potty or something, but I don't think you need to get an official one. But basically, I just have a raised stool that was initially meant for the kids in the toilet. So when you go and have a number 2, a poo-poo, put your feet on that stool because it makes your body position so much more natural in terms of letting your stools out effortlessly. So it makes anatomical sense to get a squatty potty or a stool for your feet. You want to make sure that your knees are above your hips when you're having a number 2, and your body will thank you. Final one, stop putting food in plastic containers. I've just heard about this lots and lots. I don't have my own research in front of me, but there's plenty of options for glass containers that I've used for years, and they are just amazing. You know, they never stain, they don't stink, and putting food in them is not going to do any harm to the food. So get glass containers instead of plastic containers. There we go. It is 5 minutes until my children are going to be at home. I feel like I'm always in a tiny bit of under pressure when I'm recording these things, but that's, well, no, actually this hasn't felt like pressure. This has felt like a release valve. I'm so happy to be back. I've hardly recorded recently because I've just been, my life's been so hectic, and in the evening I only record when it's sort of daytime or morning. Evening time is dedicated to just either spending it with friends or chilling out in the dark. That's not my, although I do get creative, that's not my time to talk. I want to be quiet. So now I've had a chance, I've had a few hours to get things boxed off this afternoon, which is wonderful. Next week we're going to head off on little holidays again. But I will enter my cupboard. I will fulfill my 21 episode promise as long as I don't die before then. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, if you found anything useful in it, then share it with one friend. My friend, please, that would be amazing. Also, make sure to subscribe or follow or whatever you do on the thing that you're listening to. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and other things, I believe. It automatically distributes, so I've sort of outsourced that, so I don't need to worry about any of that stuff. But yes, lovely to have you here. Appreciate you. Come and chat with me on Instagram if you wish, at Erika_Helsinki, and I shall catch you on the next episode. Lots of love, look after yourself, and send someone you care about a nice little message right now. Catch you next time. It makes me so happy. Why is this thing so good? But however, my leg is fucking going to sleep. Whew. At least it's not swollen. What's really good though is that I think I used to get nervous recording these, and now I just love it. I just love it. Yeah. Gonna get ready for the kids. They're gonna come and play with their friendies. The friend's mom was sending a message saying, my kids are desperate to play with your friends. So I basically messaged their dad saying, can the kids be back a couple of hours earlier so they've got a chance of playing with their friends. Look at these. Compression socks. I'm in love with them. I think I'm going to start wearing like a school uniform, like a white top and a black dress. No, skirt. And these, I just find them really cool. And I've always thought they're hideous. And now I've changed. So let me transport, share, export, song to disk. And this is going to be episode 14. Woohoo! 2 episodes in 2 days. Export. Amazing. I'll go and publish that when I've taken the kids out. And thanks for watching. It's very low quality right now. I'm not focusing on it, but it's just fucking cool to have these things. Thanks for sticking around, and yeah, drop a comment below, click subscribe, whatever, if you're still here. If you're still here, what are you doing here? Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you next time. Bye!